That one's weird.
Okay, cool. Let me see here. What do you think, chat? I think we need after that intense murder situation, we'll have a bit of a lighter fic now.
I got sent one on Discord. I'm gonna see how long it is, and if it's not too long, I'll read it. But if it's
I got a nice little filler here that hopefully everyone will appreciate. It's actually very fitting considering E-Scorp. So let me download the accompanying picture real quick. And here we go. Okay, now to figure out what voice to read this in. Airshipping is magic.
Oh my god, you're actually reading that one.
Yes.
Read it like Gilbert Gottfried.
Like Gilbert Gottfried? You just want to wreck my voice. Okay, let me scoot away the microphone away from me. Chapter 1! The only chapter! You know what? I'm going to turn down the gain, too. Let's do that.
Oh, yeah.
Testing! 1, 2, 3!
Hold on. Before you go on.
Okay.
Doc Diamond, you sent me a German fanfic. I can't read this in English.
Greater pressure intensifies. Mod voice next. I'm not sure if that's for you or me. I could do a mod voice, too.
I'll do a mod voice.
All
Shit.
Right. Chapter 1! The only chapter! The morning air was crisp and cool, with barely a breeze blowing. The sky was crystal blue, and the rays of the sun played lazily across the green countryside. It was the perfect day, thought Twilight Blamp, for a flight. The little purple sparkly blimp rose slowly into the air and joined the wind as it played across her face, across her surface. Fuselage. Her propellers spun into life as she turned into the westerly direction. The fluted spire that jutted out from her control deck pointed that way. Twilight wasn't a big blimp. Her gas bag was large and stubby, her fins small and protruding, and her purple gondola cabin was slung almost apologetically underneath.
My ears.
Yeah, let me turn down the gain a little more. Growing up as a little balloon in the big city, she had always been jealous of the other airships, who always seemed to be more graceful than her. But soon study had paid off. Today she was on an important mission. Today she had to ferry vital medical aid across Airquestria. Yeah, I said Airquestria! A hailstorm had hit the town of the Hull, and puncture repair kits were urgently needed. Half of the kits were now safely stored in her cargo hold. The other half were being delivered by some blimp else. It's not some pony, it's some blimp.
I think the Gilbert Gottfried voice just makes it even better.
As her engines chugged softly across the landscape, Twilight wondered who would be joining her on the mission of mercy. She knew Arity was busy designing new fashionable moorings, and Rainbow Dirigible was taking part in a race. Perhaps this would be a chance to make another friend, to provide the contents of another friendship report to the HMA Celestia. Her thoughts were interrupted as a shadow fell across her face. The pleasant sounds of her engines and the general noise of nature was drowned out by the powerful thrumming around Twilight as a huge shape powered into view. Twilight shrank back. The newcomer was a massive silver and blue zeppelin, over 300 meters long and covered in magnificent fins, with a smooth and sleek undercarriage that had the tiny purple cloak attached. On its side was the legend, Der Grobarage und Machtig Trixieberg. Well, if it wasn't the Twilight Blimple, purred the huge airship, as Twilight found itself buffeted in the wake. It seems they wanted to give me some entertainment for my important mission. Trixieberg, Twilight hissed upwards as she unsteadily gained altitude to fly to window level with her new companion. This is bigger than our rivalry. The poor citizens of Hull will deflate if we don't get there soon. Besides, I'm carrying just as much cargo as you. Trixieberg's eyes turned in Twilight's direction, and Twilight thought she had seen a flicker of a smile across the cabin. Oh yes, Twilight, I forgot you had very spacious rear cargo bay. She called her a fat ass. Twilight blushed a bright crimson, revving up her motors to attempt to outpace Trixieberg. We all know how Trixieberg's gonna end though, so it's gonna be a happy ending. It was no use. Leave my aft out of this, she protested. Trixieberg just laughed as she banked sharply to push Twilight out of the way, knocking the little blimp into a spin. Come on, Twilight, she mocked. Trixieberg awaits for no blimp. And then there's a break in the text. A few hours of the journey passed into awkward silence, with just the buzzing of the engines to lift the void. But they're both voids if you really think about it. As night fell, both airships found their gas bags, causing the altitudes to drop. Out of necessity, they huddled together for warmth, and then things got interesting. Twilight eyed Trixieberg suspiciously. It had barely been a month since the boastful Zeppelin had sailed into town, mocking her friends and showing off while she had defeated the Major Ursa. A Major Ursa was a semi-mythical beast that resembled a red biplane. Many airships lived in fear of its dangerous machine guns. The two little balloons had traveled to the forest and woken up a baby Ursa, and it was only through Twilight Blimple quick thinking that the town was saved. Trixieberg had flown away in shame, and Twilight hadn't broached the subject yet. She imagined Trixieberg was still bitter from the experience. Oddly enough, it was Trixieberg who broke the silence. I never said thank you, Twilight. Twilight blinked, 'cause she has eyes, apparently. Her udders rotated in shock. Oh, what? Trixieberg banged. Banked, like the banking institution. Trixieberg banked slightly. I was out of order. You saved me. It hadn't been a good year. It hadn't been a good year for me. Good year, 'cause they're blimps.
Fuck you.
I shouldn't have flown off like that. I was glad it was you, Twilight. Twilight bobbed to a bit higher at a revelation. This was a side of Trixieberg she hadn't expected. I'm sorry, she stammered. I thought. Trixieberg cast her eyes down. I've always been brash to hide my feelings. And I guess I'm extra brash with you because my feelings are for you extra strong. At this, Trixie Berg did something Twilight could never have expected. She banked back towards Twilight, swinging herself around, her cabin pressed against Twilight's in an impassioned kiss. Twilight felt her engine thumping hard, blushing at this. She felt herself returning the kiss, her fans moving across Trixie Berg's nacelles. That's probably sexual. Her gas bag rubbing tenderly against Trixie Berg's rigid frame, and they embraced. I had no idea, Twilight gasped, her propeller spinning harder at every touch. How could such a magnificent airship like Trixie Berg possibly love a dumpy little blimp like her? This was like one of the romance novels she used to produce back in her hangar. An impassioned tryst on a starry night. I've always loved you, Twilight, Trixie Berg smiled back at her. Ever since that first meeting, when you floated into view, your little ducting fans, the way your fins bob up and down, you're just perfect. Twilight's purple cabin blushed bright red, hotter than ever before. Trixie Berg, she whispered shyly, do you want me to mid-air refuel? Trixie Berg grinned. Oh, Twilight, you're so vanilla. I was thinking about some docking. Twilight gasped, but the allure of the powerful Zeppelin was too much for her. She floated up beneath Trixie Berg and opened a cargo bay trembling. Soon, she felt Trixie Berg's gangplank extending, grappling onto her. Oh, Trixie Berg! Trixie Berg! Twilight cried, the little blimp bobbing up and down softly beneath the impassive huge Zeppelin. Bored me! As Twilight became lost in her passion, she did not notice Trixie Berg decoupling or swooshing as the Zeppelin started to ascend higher into the sky. She did, however, notice herself getting heavier as she dipped down towards the ground, struggling to give herself some lift. I don't understand, she wondered loudly, as she then grasped the realization. Trixie Berg had unloaded her cargo inside of her. She unloaded her cargo inside Twilight Blimpo. See you later, mocked Trixie Berg, as a magnificent Zeppelin climbed higher and higher. You can deliver all the cargo to Hull, and the great and powerful Trixie Berg has far more important things to do. Twilight looked longingly into the sky as Trixie Berg sailed away into the stars. A single tear rolled down her cabin. I'll see you again, she sobbed at the departing Zeppelin. Oh, what huge vanity! And that's the end of the fanfiction.
That was awful.
There is so much spit on my screen now. Okay, let's turn that back up.
That was so bad. That's probably sexual.
Some of those were my additions.
I know.
Good times. This is quality. We're gonna keep this.
Oh my god.